Welcome back, everyone. Well, no surprise, all we hear about in the news, vaccine, vaccine, vaccine. Well, we thought it would be important to keep you up to date. So all this week, we're running two very important programs. One is a webinar that we recorded with the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce with doctors and people from our health department, bringing us up to date on the vaccine and a lot of related issues there. And also my go-to, it's Ray Agnew at Glens Falls Hospital. I go to Ray all the time, and he and I were both observers yesterday in this webinar, so we decided to check in with Ray. So welcome back, Ray. Thank you for taking the time to do this today so we could turn it around so quickly.
Pleasure as always, Jesse. Thanks for asking me.
I called my doctor this morning, Ray, and it was about an issue that was not related at all to COVID. It was about getting a prescription refilled. And before I even asked for it, the nurse, who knows me, of course, said, "We don't have any and we don't know." And she started laughing, and I thought, well, a brief moment of brevity there, right? Lightness. But it really points to the fact of the things that you and I were hearing yesterday, that we are now really declaring war on this, on COVID-19, and the rollout of the vaccine and how it goes out, where the hurdles are, where the conflicts are, is all coming all right to the forefront very, very rapidly. So you're in this, Ray. Talk to us a bit about some of the hurdles, maybe some of the conflicting information that's going out.
Sure. It's been tough. The national rollout hasn't been as quick as any of us would have liked. There have been some stumbling blocks. At the state level, it's been difficult for the state to get it out, and they're trying desperately to make sure that they prioritize correctly so that the people that most need the vaccine are getting it. But what is happening is there are obviously bottlenecks, and this vaccine is not getting out as quickly as it needs to. And because the state and each state is taking the CDC guidelines, but then also developing their own protocols for pushing it out there. And in New York State, it's very prescriptive. We'll get a shipment of vaccine and be told it needs to go into these arms, and that's the only ones that you're going to do. And then somebody else will get some, the nursing homes will get it, and it's just for the nursing homes. And the county may get a small supply and say, this is just for police and fire. So it's frustrating for the public. And I think another stumbling block is that, I probably get phone messages and Facebook messages and messages through our website a half a dozen to a dozen times a day from people saying, can I come to Glens Falls Hospital to get my vaccine? And, it's heartbreaking to have to say no at this point, because these are the ones that we can do. The good news is so many people want it. I'm hoping that bodes well for the future. But it's been a very difficult rollout, for sure.
A lot of us are hearing designations like 1A, 1B, 1C. And, sometimes on the national news, you'll hear 1A is healthcare workers and whatever. I know the list is rather long, Ray, but just a sense, since we are dealing, and I know when you talk to the state that they'll say X number of doses for 1A, X number of doses for 1B. They might change their mind and come back if they realize there's a shortage and go, nope, sorry, we're going back to 1A. What is in that first group, that 1A group?
Sure. Well, it's healthcare workers, of course, high-risk hospital and like staff at HHN, and then other healthcare high-risk essential workers. So private physician offices, front-facing clerical staff, people that are accepting patients and getting them into the queue as they come in, urgent care providers, the folks giving the vaccine, both the professionals and the volunteers. And then all ambulatory and outpatient frontline high-risk healthcare workers. So that pretty much covers the whole gamut of healthcare workers. But then also the EMS workers and the coroners and medical examiners and the funeral directors. And then, of course, the staff and the residents in the nursing homes.
Right. Now, is that all in 1A, or did you kind of combine both 1A and 1B?
That's all in 1A.
All right. So then if we move down to 1B, what I hear are, then we start to move into firefighters and police and those kinds of essential workers, correct?
Correct. Also people age 65 and older.
Oh,
1B.
well, one day you and I, Ray, then will be able to.
We're creeping up on it.
I look back at it, Ray. I don't know. I've got a few years on you. And 1C really has not been established yet, or we're.
No, it has, but I'm not familiar with it because we're so
Okay.
focused on 1A and 1B. But I would be happy if it would be helpful. I can share a link for you to share with the viewers.
Yeah, I want our viewers to know that we
all
will
about
be putting information on the screen, and in the webinar that we're running also, there will be information so you can bring
Good.
yourself and bring your family up to date.
There's actually a really good New York State website called Am I Eligible? And it's very easy to get to, and it goes right through all of them and tells you when it'll be your time, or at least you'll know what group you're in.
Right, and I think that, this is going to change, and I think it was Dr. Fauci yesterday made two very interesting comments. He said that, there'll be so many, we've declared war on this now. So along the way, there are going to be battles we win and battles that we don't win in terms of timing, in terms of rollout, in terms of getting as many people vaccinated as we can. And he was setting midsummer as kind of a time when he thought that we would be past the herd immunity number where enough people would be vaccinated to be able to protect the population as a whole and then move out. One other thing he mentioned, though, is about this new strain. And we hear a lot about that. I believe it came from England. And tell us what you know about that.
There's a couple of new strains that have come to the United States. The one that has hit our area in Saratoga Springs and now up here in Warren County is that strain that comes from England. And what we know about it is that it is up to 70% more contagious. It does not seem to be more severe, which is a good thing. It's still a very, very dangerous disease. It's no less dangerous than the original strain of the disease. And we also know that as of now, for this strain, the vaccine is still effective against it. And keep in mind how important it is for people to get vaccinated, because even if you're in the small portion of the population that can still contract the virus, it's 100% effective at preventing serious illness. So that's another reason to get vaccinated. But we were talking a little bit earlier, one of the things that is concerning to us is that while around the region it appears that hospitalizations are leveling off, both Saratoga Hospital and Glens Falls Hospital have seen hospitalizations increase over the last couple of weeks. And it's very possible that, the old saying, a canary in a coal mine, that we may be seeing what could happen nationally if Dr. Fauci is correct and this becomes the dominant strain, that we could have another spike in our future, which we all hope is not true. But it's so important to stay vigilant out there. Everybody just needs to keep doing what you've been doing.
Well, it's true. I noticed a change in Dr. Fauci's demeanor. It seems like he's able to speak more freely now, which really does help a lot because, let's face it, this cannot be a political argument. It has to be based in the information that science gives us, period.
It's got to be science and facts. And to me, it was refreshing to see the doctor in the briefing room on his own.
Yes.
Letting people know what the science is.
Yeah, I agree. Just regarding this strain, I'm just going to take a quick sidebar. Both Ray and I lost a very close friend in Saratoga, Matt McCabe, Saratoga guitar. And I was speaking to some people in Saratoga, and I'm sure you heard the same information. That new strain hit Saratoga real hard and fast, and took Matt pretty quickly. So we have to remain diligent. You touched on something. I want to just cycle back a bit. Glens Falls Hospital, it's been doing a tremendous job at facing any of the obstacles that are coming down. Give us a sense about, are you successful in vaccinating your staff and your doctors and whatever? How's that going?
It's going tremendously well here. We had hit a little bit of a hiccup this week because as 1B was announced, that people would be eligible for 1B, people thought that they could automatically come here to the hospital for it. And as I mentioned, it's very prescriptive. And so we had a little bit of a bottleneck at one point trying to help people understand how it works. But it's been very efficient. what we do is we bring people in, they get an appointment for their first dose. And at the time they get their first dose, they get an appointment for their second dose so that we don't have long lines. We get people in, we move them through quickly. For our staff, and I'm extraordinarily grateful to them for being so proactive, we have over 85% have been vaccinated. That over 85% is honestly by far the highest in the capital region. It's the highest in New York State and one of the highest in the nation. And we know that we have to get somewhere between 75 and 85, maybe even higher percent vaccinated nationwide for that herd immunity to kick in that you were talking about. So I hope that that's an example to your listeners and viewers that your hospital teams believe in this vaccine. We believe that it's safe. We believe that it's effective, and our folks are stepping up to get it. So take some comfort in that.
Yeah, and again, be watching our schedule, because in the webinar that Ray and I were watching it, they do talk a lot about that subject, and you want to know really what steps we can take and when we can take them to try to get ourselves and our families safe. I was going to ask you, if anything you wanted to add, but I know where you're going to go. You're going to go with stay diligent, aren't you?
Yeah, stay on top of your game. Wear a mask, socially distance. Support our local restaurants by ordering takeout. Keep yourselves safe. Let's all stay healthy. And then watch the news, watch the websites, watch Look TV. Make sure that you're staying current, and understand that it's highly likely that the vaccine is going to be available at the retail pharmacies, through county public health, potentially at the hospital, but probably for the general public when we get into 1C and those other phases, it's going to be at the retail pharmacies and at public health. So keep your eyes peeled.
I've got it. Ray, thanks again at last minute for agreeing to do this, and I'll be checking in with
pleasure.
you. This is really ramped up, and I'll be checking back with you soon, okay?
Always a pleasure, Jesse. Thank you for having me.
Stay safe, my friend.
You too.
Okay, later.